Hello viewers and welcome to part 3 of my Unity AI tutorial. As I talked about before, this part of the tutorial is gonna get in depth into the array integration of the AI and basically how to utilize that as the framework for the AI's commands and what makes the AI move, of course, which gives the basic command of the AI to follow the character. As you can see, I already have Rain installed on Unity, and if I were to open my scene, you can see that upon close inspection. Let me enlarge it for you. You can see that I have an AI game object following the main player. Now, the code that I shared with you guys during the last bit was essential in doing this, but the Rain AI program holds the bulk of the contents of the following. So what I want to first do is create a brand new fresh object. I'm going to start from scratch, add another object and incorporate the same attributes that I had to make this AI run as you saw in the game. So as you can see, I have this object called girl, and attached to her is an AI rig, as you can see right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bestow another object on the hierarchy that's like that object. So let me start from scratch for you. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to find my model. Post another one here. You can name it whatever you want. Just name her tutorial. And the first thing you want to do is create a default or add a component, a default character controller. Just like the basic character controller, you just want to add that first. Just to make sure we have one. So remember the code that we had, and I had renamed the code. Well, I have another version of my code. I named it differently specifically, so it wasn't as confusing. The code has what's called a child-parent relationship. So the this code holds a class that is a subclass of this parent class, and I decided to name it like that accordingly. But correspondingly, the new behavior script would be the parent, and the new behavior script 1 would be the child. So let's get into it without further ado. We're just gonna, after you have put your character controller onto the new gaming object, you add the parent script to the gaming object as well. So if you just search, you'll see you type in parent or a new behavior script that you guys may have. You insert here. So now this script. Let me open it up for you. Whoa. Seems to have some sort of error, but yeah, this, if you go to the parent, it's able to get the components of the character controller from the object in its start function. If it didn't, then we'd have an issue. And you see I added some error checking here. You don't need to worry about that, but you do have this in your code. You get the component character controller. As long as you have a character controller added onto the object, it shouldn't be an issue at all. So let me close that up. And after you do this, you essentially have the basic physics for the object. Here is where you can toggle the collisions, the collision capsule for the actual object. Let's go here. And as you can see, the object is here, but the collision capsule in green is all the way down here. Now you can toggle the center, and you can just say 0.85 or something like that. And notice how it reaches the, it encapsulates the entire object. You can toggle it at your will, but this is basically what's going to help provide the object's collision, so it's not falling to the floor or flying in the air while it's following the AI. So next you want to, let's see here, you want to create a new AI. So you go to Rain, create new AI, and this AI doesn't have a binary tree assets, but we're going to add a binary tree to this AI. So if you've already downloaded Unity, if you've already downloaded Rain, what you can do is say create new behavior tree, give it a name. We'll just call it a tutorial tree. And it starts you off with the binary tree with a sequence node. And for the simplicity of this tutorial, finishing this behavior tree is very simple. All you would do is go to animate. Let's see here, animate decision, actions, making them decisions. Sorry about that. It's been a while. Yeah, just go sequence move. And that's probably the only extra node you need for this tree. Now, as you can see, there's a bunch of fill in the blank lists. Things here that are that demand some type of input. We're going to be putting input into a couple of these slots. First thing we're going to do, since we've created the tutorial tree, leave it be now. Go back to the AI rig in the inspector, and you want to create a variable called whatever you want to call it. But that variable is going to help store the positions and mark the positions of the object that you're trying to follow, namely the player. So you can just call it whatever you want. It's just a placeholder. So you can call it K, you can call it L for all you want. You don't have, it doesn't matter. So just call it let's see, player. Lowercase player, it doesn't matter. And its value is going to be the game object that you're trying to follow. So as you can see here, I have something called player test. And this is what I want girl 1 to follow. I want girl 1 to follow player test. So I'm going to look in the objects for player test. Click them. And this object is marked, and the program is gonna keep tabs on this object. So going back to the behavior tree, you want on this move node, you want the target to be the form variable that you created. So say move target is player, and you want the AI to also face the player target. And the move speed and turn speed you can adjust. I will max out the move speed and the turn speed just to ensure that the AI is following the player correctly. So you want it listed like this. And the close enough distance, You don't have to fill out these last two. And as far as this is concerned, I can double check, but you should be done with this. And that's it as far as the behavior tree. And